Hi everybody, this is Rachel again. I hope everybody's had a good week. Historians must be objective and honest in their investigations. And this week our topic was fundamentalism versus modernism. And I think this one was a hard one to stay objective on. After doing more and more research, it was almost impossible not to find yourself picking one side or another, or at least it was for me. What I gathered from my reading, the main true conflict of fundamentalism versus modernism was their interpretations of the Bible. I think the fundamentalists decided that the Bible was to have a literal interpretation, and modernists believed that the Bible was written by man. It has some inaccuracies in it. It couldn't have been written by who we said it or who they said it was, like Moses. And I think that there were a lot of discrepancies that could be argued for the Bible. I found an article through ProQuest from William T. Connor, and it was fundamentalism versus modernism, and I think it put it in the perspective that finally kind of made sense to me. I wrote it down, so I'm going to read it to you. Number one, fundamentalism emphasizes authority and fixed creeds versus modernism that emphasizes freedom and progress. Number two, fundamentalism represents supernatural versus modernism that represents natural to man. Number three, fundamentalism is crisis versus resolution. Modernism is growth for evolution. And then finally, number four, and this kind of sums it up too, is fundamentalism believes sin is guilt and has condemnation, and then there's justification and regeneration. Modernism believes that sin is imperfectness, it's a weakness, and that salvation grows and makes you attain character. Our readings, our book, and the videos this week gave several examples that showed the debate between fundamentalism and modernism. The first thing that was discussed was the heresy trial of Charles Briggs. Charles Briggs was a professor at Union Theological Seminary, and he had been a really good professor, and he was very well liked, and eventually he got a higher position. When he went to take this higher position, he made a speech, and I think he thought that he was opening a door that would broaden the theological seminary, and instead some of the fundamentalists took what he said out of context and actually tried him for heresy, where he was acquitted, but then he still ended up losing his job later on. The other thing was the Scopes trial. We've all heard about the Scopes trial, about the theory of evolution being taught in schools. At this trial, you had Clarence Darrow, who was a confirmed atheist, defending John Scopes, and then you had William Jennings Bryan, who had been a very public figure as the prosecuting attorney. Everything was going along really well, and then Clarence Darrow put Bryan on the stand. Bryan defended his Christianity, and he also defended the biblical teachings. However, he did make the statement that he thought that a day was not just 24 hours, and that kind of opened the door to a whole later on debate about literal interpretations of the Bible. In conclusion, I'm going to leave you with a short, brief article that I read from the Evening Star in Washington, D.C., and its headline says, "Minister Pleads for Broader View." Dr. James Burr of the First Reformed Church of Washington was speaking to the Lions Club, and he said on the debate between fundamentalism and modernism, man can be both. And the end of that article was this quote, and I thought this was a great quote. It said, "Controversy is sure evidence of progress, and where there is no controversy, there is no progress." And I think as we've studied this course in Christianity, I think we we've seen that. So I hope you guys have a good week. Thanks a lot.